What if everything your parents taught you about money was wrong? Not a little wrong. Completely wrong. Because one man grew up with two fathers, one who had a PhD, a stable government job, and died broke, and another who never finished high school and became one of the richest men in Hawaii. Same city, same era. Two totally different results. The only difference? What they believed about money. And here's the thing that'll mess with your head a little. The poor dad, the one with all the degrees and the safe job, he gave the same advice that most of us got growing up. Study hard. Get a good job. Save your money. But the rich dad? He said that advice was a trap. So today, we're breaking down the 7 brutal lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book that sold over 40 million copies and genuinely changed the way millions of people think about money. Let's get into it. Lesson 1. The rich don't work for money, money works for them. Here's lesson 1, and it's probably going to sting a little. Most of us were taught to work hard to earn money. You put in the hours, you get the paycheck. Sounds fair, right? But here's the problem. That model is designed to keep you in a loop. You earn, you spend, you need more, you work more. Robert Kiyosaki calls it the rat race. And the scary part is, most people run it their entire lives without realizing it. Rich Dad had a completely different approach. Instead of asking, "How much does it pay?" he asked, "What will I learn?" And, "How can I make money work for me?" He taught young Robert that emotions like fear and greed control most people's financial decisions. Fear of not having enough keeps you chasing a paycheck. Greed makes you spend it the moment it arrives. Most people don't realize this, but breaking free from the rat race isn't about earning more. It's about thinking differently. The goal is to get to a point where your money earns money. While you sleep. While you're on vacation. While you're doing literally anything else. That's the mindset shift. And it starts right here. Lesson 2. The rich buy assets. Everyone else buys liabilities thinking they're assets. Okay, this is where it gets interesting, and honestly, where most people's entire financial life starts to make sense in a painful way. Kiyosaki gives a definition that sounds almost too simple. But it's one of the most powerful ideas in the whole book. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. That's the whole thing. So here's the brutal question. Is your house an asset? Most people say yes. It's probably the biggest purchase of their life. But Kiyosaki says, not necessarily. Because your house costs you money every single month. Mortgage, property taxes, maintenance, insurance. It takes money out of your pocket. By his definition, that's a liability. Now, before you throw your phone across the room, he's not saying don't buy a house. He's saying understand what it actually is. But here's the problem most people have. They spend their whole lives accumulating liabilities, fancy cars, bigger houses, subscriptions, gadgets, and they call it building wealth. Meanwhile, the rich are quietly stacking actual assets. Stocks, rental properties, businesses, royalties, things that generate income. The gap between the rich and everyone else? A lot of it comes down to this one column. Assets versus liabilities. Which one are you filling up? Lesson 3. Mind your own business. This one sounds like attitude advice. It's not. It's financial strategy. Here's what Rich Dad meant by it, and it's kind of brilliant. Your profession is not your business. Your job pays your bills. But your business, your real business, is your asset column. Think about it. You might work as a nurse, a teacher, a software engineer. That's your profession. You trade time for money. But Rich Dad says while you're doing that job, you should be quietly building your real business on the side. What does that look like? It could be real estate, a side business, stocks, whatever assets you're building up over time. This is where it gets interesting for most people. They spend decades getting better at their job, which is great. But they never invest that same energy into building their own asset column. They make their employer rich. They pay taxes. They go home. Repeat. Rich Dad's advice? Keep your day job if you need to. But never stop building your actual business, your assets, in the background. Because one day, those assets are what set you free. Lesson 4. The history of taxes and the power of corporations. Okay, stick with me here because this one sounds a little dry. But what Kiyosaki reveals about taxes is actually kind of infuriating. Most people think the income tax was created to tax the rich. But here's the truth that almost nobody talks about. The rich figured out a legal way to protect themselves from taxes almost immediately. How? The corporation. Here's how it works in the simplest way possible. An employee earns money, pays taxes, then spends what's left. A business owner earns money, spends first, on legitimate business expenses, then pays taxes on what's left. The difference in what you actually keep over a lifetime? Massive. Absolutely massive. But here's the problem. Nobody teaches you this. Not in school. Not at home. You're raised to be an employee. To think paying taxes is just the price of a paycheck. The rich understand the rules of the financial game. They hire smart accountants and lawyers. They use legal structures to protect their wealth. Most people don't realize this, but financial literacy is literally a superpower. Not because it's complicated, but because most people never bother to learn it. Kiyosaki isn't saying cheat the system. He's saying understand the system. Because right now, the system is playing you. Lesson 5. The rich invent money. This might be the most mind-bending lesson in the whole book. Most of us wait for opportunities to come to us. We wait for a raise. We wait for the market to go up. We wait for the right time to invest. But here's what Rich Dad believed: the rich don't wait for opportunities. They create them. He used a phrase that stuck with me. The rich invent money. What does that actually mean? It means they use creativity and financial intelligence to spot deals that most people walk past every single day. They see value where others see problems. And they act. Here's a real example from the book. Kiyosaki once bought a house in foreclosure for well below market value, because he'd spent years learning how the system worked and had the cash ready to move fast. He made tens of thousands in profit within weeks. Most people don't realize this, but the opportunity was available to anyone. Most people just weren't prepared to see it or act on it. That preparation comes from constantly learning, from reading, from studying, from getting financially educated even when your day job has nothing to do with money. Rich Dad used to say, "The most dangerous words in the English language are, 'I can't afford it.' Instead ask, 'How can I afford it?' One question shuts your brain off. The other forces your brain to find a solution. That's the mindset of someone who invents money instead of waiting for it. Lesson 6. Work to learn, not to earn. Here's a lesson that might completely change how you think about your career. Kiyosaki tells a story about a young woman who had a master's degree in English literature. She was a talented writer, but she was barely getting by financially. She once complained to him that rich people were just lucky. He asked her, "Can you sell?" She was offended. She said she hadn't gone to school to become a salesperson. And he said, "That's exactly your problem." Most people don't realize this, but the highest paid skill in the world isn't writing, coding, or engineering. It's the ability to sell, to communicate, to persuade. Rich Dad told Robert, "Don't just work for money. Work to learn. Take a job because of what it will teach you, not just what it will pay you. Learn sales. Learn marketing. Learn management. Learn accounting. Learn how to lead people. Because every skill you add becomes a multiplier on every other skill you have." Poor Dad believed in becoming an expert in one thing. Rich Dad believed in knowing a little about a lot of things. Here's the brutal truth. Most people are one skill away from totally transforming their income. They just never invest in learning it. Lesson 7. Overcome the obstacles: fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. This is the final lesson, and honestly, it might be the most important one. Because here's the thing, Kiyosaki says most people already know enough to become financially free. The information isn't really the problem. The problem is the 5 mental roadblocks that kill people's financial future before it ever begins. Number 1. Fear. Everyone is afraid of losing money. But Kiyosaki says the difference is what you do with that fear. The rich fail forward. They lose money, learn from it, and go again. Most people are so afraid of losing that they never play. Number 2. Cynicism. You know the voice. That'll never work. The market's going to crash. Those rich people are just lucky. Cynicism feels like intelligence. But it's just fear with a college degree. Number 3. Laziness. This is where it gets interesting, because the laziest people Kiyosaki ever met weren't sitting on a couch. They were busy, working 60-hour weeks, staying too busy to ever think about their finances. Busyness is often just a more socially acceptable form of avoidance. Number 4. Bad habits. Pay yourself first. Always. Most people pay their bills first and save whatever's left. Rich Dad flipped that. He paid himself first, invested first, and then figured out how to handle the bills. That pressure, he said, forces creativity, forces you to find solutions. Number 5. Arrogance. This one hits different. Kiyosaki says arrogance is ignorance plus ego. When people don't understand something, like taxes or investing, instead of admitting it and learning, they attack it. Investing is for rich people. Real estate is a scam. Every time you catch yourself being arrogant about money, that's a sign. Go learn. So let's bring it all together. Robert Kiyosaki grew up watching 2 men, 2 fathers, approach money in completely opposite ways. And the results of those 2 approaches played out exactly as you'd expect. The lesson isn't that school is bad, or that jobs are bad, or that you need to be a real estate mogul by Tuesday. The lesson is this: financial education is the foundation of financial freedom. And most of us were never given it. But here's the good news. It's not too late. It's literally never too late to learn how money works. Start by understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Stop buying things that look like wealth and start building things that generate wealth. Invest in learning new skills. And for the love of everything, overcome your fear of failure, because that fear is the most expensive thing you'll ever own. Rich Dad used to say, "The poor and middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them." Which side of that equation do you want to be on? If this hit different for you, do me a favor. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 7 lessons was the one you needed to hear most? And if you want more book breakdowns like this, the ones that actually change how you think, make sure you're subscribed. Because we drop these every week. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.